What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Studios. First off, thank you so much for checking out today's content. I'll make this extremely fast, but I need to plug our sponsors that make this show possible. Our first sponsor is PerfectStormNow.com, by far the most effective and affordable real estate agent website and database platform in the industry. It is the system I use to sell 50 plus homes every single month. Check it out at www.perfectstormnow.com. Our second sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp, which is, again, my personal real estate agent mentorship program where we spend 90 days together, 12 live sessions. You get daily access to me inside the program. You guys, we go so extremely in-depth. There's nothing that's incomplete about this program. You're going to get all the tools that you need to go out there and crush it inside your real estate business. Make sure to go check us out, www.90daymastery.com. You can watch in-depth videos of exactly what's covered to see if the program is for you. See all the raving testimonials we have from all of the amazing agents and clients that went through the program. So make sure to check us out, www.90daymastery.com. All right, you guys, let's jump on into today's content. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD mode interview. Every single week, we interview top entrepreneurs, top realtors, and just straight up top badasses that are out there dominating their space that are choosing to go out there and create big, epic lives for themselves and their families, and not go out there and live a life of mediocrity. So today, you guys, we got an amazing guest on the show. Our guest today is just an epic, badass real estate agent, right? So a lot of things about this guy that really impresses me. He's an individual real estate agent doing 100 plus home sales every single year, and he's in a second home market, right? Which can pose a lot of other challenges, right? And again, doing 100 plus homes every single year, which is insane, right? So really stoked and honored to have Ricky Carruth on the show. My friend.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, dude. I know that this is kind of round number 2. Last week, you guys were experiencing some pretty gnarly storms over there. So I'm stoked that we were able to reconnect and get you back on right away, dude. So yeah, man, again, like I said in the intro, I mean, you're selling 100 homes a year as a single agent, which, you know, we see people out there and big teams doing a lot of big numbers. I just can't even fathom doing 100 homes a year all by myself, right? Like, I mean, it's just impressive the hell. I mean, plus being in a second home market, you know, these are people buying a lot of vacation homes and which poses a lot of other challenges. So really stoked to dive in. But before we dive into what you're doing today, I'm interested because I know that you were in the construction industry before you got into real estate. Like, walk us through your journey that led you into this career.
Yeah, man, it's actually pretty interesting. I was born in Alabama, and in Huntsville, Alabama, and then my parents moved to Gulf Shores on the beach, and so it's right on the Florida-Alabama line. You ever been there?
Nope.
Yeah, dude, it's like white sandy beaches, palm trees. It's have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
Yeah. Nobody knows we have like some of the most beautiful beaches in the world down here. And we got a lot of condos too, right on the beach. But yeah, I grew up down here, and my dad owned a roofing business. And so I was kind of born into this blue collar roofing kind of biz. Like I was born into roofing, and roofing, you get up, you go to work every day, you work as hard as you can. It's a lot of hard work. And a lot of people say, man, I could never do that. And, but when you're born into it, you don't know any different. And so, from a real early age, my dad had me on a roof when I was like 8 years old. Like cleaning up job sites stuff. When I was like 12 years old, I was laying shingles. And, when you're born into it, you just don't know any better, and you just do it. And that's what you're used to. So I actually, through those years of a teenager and stuff, when I did a lot of roofing, I actually loved it. I just love to work. Like it gives me a euphoric feeling and stuff, when I know I did everything I could do. It's kind of like the get shit done mentality. But in 2002, I transitioned into real estate because, when I was young, I loved to work, but I had this real huge desire to, number one, I knew that one day I was going to help a lot of people. I didn't know how. And I also knew I wanted to be super rich by doing so. And with being super rich, you can even help more people. So I knew that that was kind of my destiny from day one. And I knew it'd be a long journey. So, when I got into real estate, I was used to laying shingles all day. And so I had to try to transition and convert how to, lay. You get paid for every shingle you lay. So I had to figure out in real estate, what can I do in real estate that translates to I get paid for everything that I do. And so it took me a long time, but I finally ran across phone calls, and circle prospecting, calling property owners and stuff like that. So basically, to wrap up how I got where I'm at, I got in 2002 when the boom happened and everything went crazy. And I could literally call 10 condo owners on the beach and find somebody that wanted to make $100,000 on their condo because they were just shooting up. So I'd make 10 calls. I'd sell I'd list it, I'd sell it in a day, it'd close in 30 days, and then I would never hear from that person ever again. I would just call 10 more owners, do a deal, call 10 more owners, do a deal, so on and so forth. And I never really, I got the phone call part down and I got the doing the deals part down, but I didn't get the relationship part down. And then when the market crashed, I made a lot of money. But when it crashed, I bought so much real estate and stuff like everybody else. I lost everything, went bankrupt and all that. I went back to roofing. Then I worked on an oil rig for a year. So it's been an interesting journey. But through all that, through the crash and everything, I realized, I read a bunch of books and I was trying to figure out what I did wrong. Why did I lose everything? What was it that it was missing? And so I realized it was relationships. I had a theory. Once I realized it, was like a light bulb went off. If I have enough relationships in place with property owners, then if a market crashes, it's like I watch the market crash and then I watch sales still happen. There weren't as many sales, but the properties didn't disappear, it didn't crumble and, the earth didn't explode. Properties were still here. People still own the properties. What I really learned through the crash was there's three different people. There's three different prospects. There's people that got to sell because they're desperate, they're in trouble. Somebody that wants to buy because everything's such a good deal. And people they're just holding on. So I realized that relationships is where I have to be for the next crash. And I also learned that when the next crash happens, I'm going to call everybody and say, who are you? Are you a seller, buyer, or holder right now? Because all the other realtors will leave the business and it'll just be more market share for me. So anyway, when I got laid off from the oil rig, when Obama came into presidency, because Obama knocked out some of that oil grants the government was given, and the oil prices were kind of coming down. So, I eventually got laid off, but I had been dabbling back in real estate. I had a couple things going. I didn't sell anything from 05 to 08. I didn't sell a single property. So, but I was hungry and I was learning stuff, underneath it all. And in 08, there were tons of foreclosures down here. 08, 09, 10, 11 started trickling off. Now there's none. But I started selling foreclosures to buyers. I sent emails all over the Southeast just to random people saying, hey, condos are down here for half off right now. Who wants one? And in 2008, I emailed 1 million people. 1,000 of them responded and 20 of them bought something. And that kind of got me back on my feet financially. It gave me a little breathing room where I could start going after listings and really, be full-time agent. So Then we turn around to 2010 and the oil spill hits. The oil spill, happened in the Gulf of Mexico, and it scared everybody on the Gulf Coast, which included us. So we had in 2010 we had another like mini recession, where people were kind of scared. There were owners that were dumping their properties, and realtors that were leaving, saying that there was going to be black seas, for years. And none of that happened. But during that little mini recession, I took what I learned in the first recession, and I just kept at it with keeping people informed on what's going on, and just continuing to develop my relationships. I ended up making more money that year than I did the year before. And it kind of my little theory worked about relationships and recessions. And that's when I had enough confidence to jump over to Remax. Now, Remax is a couple grand a month, so I never was really comfortable with that until I really felt like I had this down. So when I lost everything in the crash, came back up, and then made it through the oil spill, I was ready to go to Remax. So I went to Remax in 2010, and from there, it's just been a stair step up. I went from 0 to 100. Which is where I am right now. We, let's see, 2014, me and my dad together, we're the #1 team in Alabama for Remax. Yeah, I sold 100 properties that year. I sold 100 properties 2015. I sold 100 properties last year. This year I've already closed 70. And I took 17 listings in May. It translates to about 24 million so far closed this year. And it's just me and an assistant. We're just grinders, man. We just make it happen.
Yeah, and those that are watching this, like you may be watching this years down the road from when we produced it. To give you some context, we're in June, so only halfway through the year. So if you keep it up, right? That's what 140, 150 deals that you're on pace for with that growth. So, hey, just out of curiosity, dude, when you left and you went back to roofing and working on that oil rig, was that, did you know deep down that, hey, I'm only doing these things to get by right now with the plan to always get back into real estate? Or when you got back into those, did you kind of regain that hunger for real estate?
Dude, always getting better, man. Like I had to downgrade my life because I got kicked in the mouth, so I had to backtrack. But, that doesn't mean anything to me. I just backtracked. I figured out where the highest point I could be at that given time, which is at rock bottom. Man, I was making $300 a week roofing houses all week during that time. And then I had an opportunity to go work on an oil rig, which was about $4,000 a month, working every other week in Mississippi. And so if you notice the pattern of my life, I'm always going uphill. I don't ever go backwards. Like right before I got into real estate, I was actually roofing houses and serving tables at night. I'd serve tables till 1 o'clock in the morning and get up the next morning and roof houses again. I'm always at the maximum potential. And then if I see a better opportunity, where I'm not going to lose what I got, I'm going to jump on that opportunity and kind of stair step myself up. So I always knew I was going to be back in real estate. I never let my license go inactive. I was always researching, looking at MLS. I was always reading stuff, back in 2007. In 2007, I actually was looking on MLS, and I saw this guy, this realtor that actually helped me from day one. And he had sold 30 properties in 2006 or 7. And this was at the bottom of the market. I was amazed. I was like, what in the world's going on here? I'm sitting here. I'm one of the hardest working guys I know, and I've been like, kicked in the mouth. And this guy, he's still selling enough to make a good living, So I went to him and I said, what are you doing? And I think that's a big thing. I think that's something that kind of marks a real successful agent, is that when you reach out to other agents that are successful and you pick their brain about stuff and try to figure out what do they got going on that you don't, what can you incorporate into your business that they're doing. I think that's a big thing. So to answer your question, I always knew I was going to be back in real estate, and doing 100 deals a year, is great and everything. But if I was worried about that, then I would just stop right there. If I'm going to stop there, I would have stopped at 50. I've done 70 so far this year. Next year I want to do, it's not that I want to do and I have all these big goals. It's that I want to reach my full potential, and I don't know what my full potential is. To tell you the truth, I'm just going to go. So I'm always going to take it to another level for sure.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And this is something that I always preach as well. And I think any uber successful self-made person kind of follows this, where it's like set goals that really have no finish line, because operating at our full potential, because once you get there, you're capable of more. So really it's something that we can never achieve, right? Like there's never a point in your life where oh, I've been a good enough father. I can't become a better father to my children, so I'm just going to stop expansion and growth. No, we always know we can be better. And that's what I love about when we set goals, because I'm right there with you, where I want to set goals that never have a finish line, that keep me hungry. Like you said, hey, if my goal is 100, then shit, I just stop, right? So dude, so I love it, man. So there's really kind of three areas I want to hit on with you, which is, what you're doing to generate new business. The second would be, you talked a lot about those relationships and developing those, staying in touch with your past clients, keeping them up to date, educating them. And, I kind of want to get an idea of what you're doing there. And then thirdly, I really want to go into what your daily schedule looks like, because 100 deals with one assistant, again, it's pretty impressive, and you've got to, I'm sure, really have your schedule dialed in to do that. So, when it comes to your new business, because it's not like with your business growing, you're at the level it is, you're not just reliant on repeat referral business. You probably got a lot of that coming in, but then I'm sure you're out there attacking new business as well. And you talked before about circle prospecting. I mean, what are some of the things that you're doing right now to bring in this new business that, it's 2017 as the time of this interview. What are some things that you're doing right now that are working really well for you for that new business?
For sure, man. Well, for one, people that kind of rely on referrals, their business will kind of stall out. That's kind of where you're stalling. You're going to stall out. You're not going to grow. You always have to have new business coming in, whatever your thing is. Everybody has a different thing. You have to figure out what your thing is to generate the kind of leads that make you happy at the level that you want. People to get where I'm at, to actually do 70 deals so far this year, it's a combination of being so good to your clients through the transaction, keeping up with them, creating that long-term relationship forever, and gaining a ton of referrals. But also it's a combination of that and the new business. So if I were to last year, if I were to just stop trying to get new business and just rely on my referrals, then I probably would just do 100 deals this year. Because I feel like, as a rule of thumb, your business will kind of stall out. But I'm still going after new business. So your business will not grow unless you're going after new business. With that being said, my thing is circle prospecting. I feel like, in my opinion, there's different quality of prospects out there. And if I'm going to spend my time and I'm going to, we only have so many days on this earth. We only have so many hours. We have to be as most productive as we can, work as smart as we can. I want the highest quality prospect that's available. So what is the highest quality prospect? It's property owners. Property owners, they already own property. So, if you can get a listing out of them, then of course that's the best, type of transaction. That's your best time per dollar is a listing. But if a seller or a property owner wants to buy a property, those are the best buyers because they already know everything. They already know how much property taxes and insurance, and they're not asking all these crazy questions and taking up all your time. You don't have to spend all that time educating them. So I concentrate only on property owners who own property that I want to sell. And so to me, that's the best quality prospect to go after. Down here where I'm at, it's a second home vacation market and everything. So I concentrate on Gulfront condos. I sell a lot of houses and land, and I sell a commercial piece here and there. But my bread and butter is Gulfront condos. So I just time block, and I set some time aside. When I first started, when I did all those deals, whenever the market blew up and everything, I was calling about 100 people a day. I would look up numbers and I would call 100 people a day. And I would actually probably out of that only talk to about 5 people. And I'd leave a lot of messages. But the thing is back then, there weren't anything, there were no dialing systems. I actually had to dial the numbers myself, leave the message, the stuff that people don't have to deal with these days if they're dealing with using one of the dialing systems. So I'd make 100 calls a day to talk to 5 people and try to make something happen. I knew that was the path that I wanted to take. But now that I'm where I'm at, I make about 50 calls a week. I'll set aside about 2 hours a week to use a dialer and call 50, make 50 calls. Some weeks I'll do past clients just to reconnect. I kind of alternate. I'll do, new strictly cold calls. And then the next week I'll do past clients. So that's kind of my system because I built a monster, man. I have so much business. I've got so much business and I have so much past business that I have so much referral business coming in. I have so much going on. I don't have the time that I used to sit around and make all the calls I really want to make. Dude, I really actually want to make, hundreds of calls a week. Like if it were up to me, I would make hundreds of calls a week, but I don't have that luxury. But my business is still growing, and I've got a really good assistant, which is a big part of it. So I hope that answers your question, because as far as getting new business, there's unlimited amount of people to call. That's one thing realtors don't get. I'm still calling people that I never talked to in my market. And I've made thousands and thousands of calls over the years. So it's the sea is large, man.
Yep. No, I love it. So, and just like you talked about, man, I mean, that consistency is key. That time blocking is key. To give people an idea when you're circle prospecting, right? Because you've got this, those of you that don't know what it is, you've got a list of homeowners, let's just say, and you're doing just that. You've got your area and you're just circling around and recalling. You're targeting. You've got your niche, you're reaching out to them, but a lot of people, I think a lot of people get freaked out about cold calling because they don't know what to say, and they make up these stories in their head that they're going to get, chewed out, and it's going to be worse than what it is, and I just tell people, I'm like, dude, just do something simplistic. Like, hey, Joshua Smith here, XYZ Real Estate. I'm just reaching out to local homeowners to see if you have a need to potentially sell your home right now, or if you have any questions about what's going on in the marketplace. It could be something so basic. And you do enough of it, you get results. So give us an idea of what kind of a script that you're using that's getting results.
Well, I've kind of developed a script over the years. All my calls and stuff, I've had to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You know what I mean? So it's like a roadmap, man. Like a phone call. If you look at a phone call like a roadmap kind of thing, where there's only 4 or 5 different end results, and you know how the call's going to end. You know that there's only going to be 4 or 5 different end results, and there's going to be a couple twists and turns in the call. You kind of know what to expect. You can handle whichever way the call goes, and it's going to end the way that it's going to end, one of the 3 or 4 ways. When you actually realize that, you start to become less worried about the call, because you know how it's going to go. They're either going to hang up on you, they're going to say they want to do something, don't want to do something, here's my email address. There's only a couple different scenarios. And so after you make a lot of calls, you start to realize these kind of things. You get really good at it. People that don't make calls or scared to make calls, to me, they're kind of selfish. because, if real estate is a people business. Like the reason that it is so different than a lot of other businesses, and why I think technology is going to be really hard to replace real estate agents, is because there has to be conversations to have to make transactions, because each local market is so different. I can go 30 minutes down the road and I don't know what's going on up there. Every market is its own little world, and you have to have a local expert to help you navigate the waters. So I think that, and to navigate the waters, you got to have a conversation with somebody. So that's why, to me, phone calls are the number one way to get a career really jump started. And I feel like you're selfish if you know that, and that's going to make you successful, and you being successful is going to help everybody around you, and you still don't do it. To me, that's just kind of a cop-out. You got to get it done, and if it's not for you, then you might want to think about doing something else, because talking to strangers and selling to strangers and talking on the phone is, if you can't do it at a very high level, then 80% of people don't make it in this business. But to answer your question about what I say, it kind of goes like this. I say their name like a question, hey, Mr. Johnson. And then they'll say yes or no. And then I say, hey, Mr. Johnson, this is Ricky Carruth down at Remax of Orange Beach. How you doing today? And then he'll say whatever. And then I'll say a little remark, kind of something like about the weather or something. I'll say something about what's going on. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay dry. It's raining like crazy out there. Or, man, it's gorgeous outside. Something like that, to kind of ease him up and get the prospect kind of, on level terms, where I'm not just coming at him with a sales pitch. Then I immediately say, hey, well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but a house down the road just sold from you, and I didn't know if there's anything I could do for you. So that's the approach I take. I tell them, hey, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I just listed a house, or something just sold, or whatever I'm calling about, and I didn't know if there's anything I could do for you today. And sometimes they'll say, well, help me with what? And I'm like, well, with buying or selling real estate, or anything, just whatever. And then they'll say, no, not really. 99% of them are going to say no right there. All right, that's my opening right there. If they say yes, then I'm going to go after that deal. I want to try to close that deal. And that happens, under 1% of the time. But what you're really looking for is that no, because so many people say no, they don't need anything right now. So many people that you call are not going to be ready to do a transaction. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could figure out a way to capitalize on all the people that you talk to on the phone to say no? Because here's the thing, man, you're on the phone. This is a precious moment. You're on the phone with that property owner. Chances are you may never talk to them again. This is your moment to really make something happen or not. You got to make a connection somehow. So when they say no, that's when I hit them with, well, look, I understand. Well, look, is there an agent in the area that you work with, or that you would work with if you were to do something? And I just let them answer that. And see, when they answer, if they say yes, then I just say, oh, okay, who is it? That's a great agent. You're in good hands. If there's ever anything I can do for you, please let me know. Boom, you get off the phone. I'm done. Right? But when they say they don't have an agent that they would work with, that's like an open invitation for me to be their agent moving forward. If I do what I'm supposed to do from that point forward, then I'm going to have this great relationship with this person. And when they decide it's time to do something, then I'm hoping that I've done what I'm supposed to do to convince them that I'm the best choice of a real estate agent. So when they say no, I say, I got you. Well, look, one day you're going to want to buy or sell something around here, and I'd just like the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Would it be all right if we stayed in touch? And of course, they're going to say yes right there if you made it that far in the conversation, because you're not saying anything real threatening. You're not invading any privacy or anything like that. I've never really had anybody that said no right there once you get to that point in the call. And then they say, yes, it's okay to stay in touch. That's when I ask for their email address. That's when I ask for their email address. I ask for the email address after they commit to staying in touch with me. And that way they feel a little more obligated to give it to me. And if they say no, then I do push on them a little right there and say, listen, I understand. I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to spam you or anything crazy like that. I just want the opportunity just to stay in touch with you. If you don't like what I send you, then you can just, cancel it or whatever. I'll take you off. No big deal. So that's what I do, man. That is like the whole thing, man. I know the questions I'm going to ask, the yes and no's, the transition points, and at the end of the day, they're either going to hang up on me, say they have a realtor already, give me their email address, not give me that. There's only a couple different, end results of this call, and you make enough of them, you're going to find about 50% of people are never going to do anything with you because they don't like you. They have another realtor. They're never going to sell. About 25% will do something with you in 10 years. 15% will do something with you in 5 years. 2 or 3% do something in 2 or 3 years. And then like under 1% will do something today. And so if you can capitalize on all the people that like you enough, they're just not ready right now, and you can figure out a system to keep those people in the palm of your hand until they get ready to do something, that's when you create a really big business. And so I get their email address and I do a weekly email report of my market. It's really good, and it keeps people engaged. So that's pretty much, the bread and butter. I don't have a very elaborate, crazy, business. It's pretty simple, and but it works really well, and I just grind it out.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. And you did a brilliant job laying that out, right? So hopefully those watching and listening are taking some amazing notes here. Because so many people overcomplicate this stuff. It's basic. It's simplistic, but simple doesn't mean easy. It's hard to pick up the phones. It's hard to get rejected. So simplistic never means easy. But I love it, dude. And at the end of the day, it absolutely works. So, and you're living proof of that, right? So then in that weekly email update, like, which I also love, because think that's 40 or what, 48 touches a year. And even if they're just deleting it, they're still seeing, Ricky with Remax's name. You can't delete an email with not kind of even through your peripheral seeing that name and burning that into their subconscious. Mm-hmm. So when you're emailing that weekly market update, is that just kind of like hey, here's what's new on the market, here's what's went under contract, here's what's sold in the past week, or is it, do you include just overall things that are happening in the area? Like, what does that weekly email look like?
It's a combination of everything, man. It's stuff in the area, it's closed sales, it's new listings, it's a nice picture of the beach, it's featured listings. But the thing about it is, it's got a beach cam, property search thing. It's got all kinds of stuff. But the thing is the genius of it is to make it to where it has all those different parts of the content, but also to make it simple to read, easy on the eyes, not real busy. I'm pretty good. I've got kind of a talent where I can create these emails and other things where it's attractive, without being too much for people, where it's just kind of a subtle thing. It gives you what you want, but it's not too much. And, I've got people that open up the email because they want to see what closed. Then I got other people that open it up because they want to see the new listings. Then I got other people that open it up because they want to see the beach cam. Other people want to see the, featured properties or whatever. There's a different thing on there for everybody, and I try to make it to where it's got everything anybody would want. I got 14,000 people on that list, and 2,000 of them open it up every week. And then out of the other ones, I'm sure, they just, like you say, they just kind of subliminally see it every week. And if they ever decide to do something, they know it's there. They know I'm there. You know what the weekly report does for me? It like works for me. Like, it builds the relationship for me, because I send it every single Wednesday for 10 years, through the ups and downs of my life, through the market crashing, through, moving, vacations. Every single Wednesday, a report goes out from me to them. And what it does is it shows them how consistent I am. It shows them how hardworking, professional, knowledgeable, low pressure, easy to deal with. It completely molds who I am to them on a massive level to thousands of people without me having to do it. Where I can just sit here and make calls all day to new people and just get more email addresses, throw them in there, and let that machine just keep churning. So I get people that call me all the time that I've been getting your email for 7 years, and I'm like, what's your name? It's amazing. So, when I started, there was no Facebook, there was no dialing systems and stuff, and this is a whole new world that we're in now. But I built my stuff on the old school, methods, and it still works. I have gotten into a lot of Facebook stuff. I have done, I do some things, but my bread and butter is phones and emails, and postcards. I'm pretty religious on postcards. Do about 2,000 a month.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's amazing, man. It's, I think so many people use technology, and they use it in a way that it replaces the human connection, and you've used it in a way where you're not looking to replace the human connection, those relationships. You're just allowing you to do more of it and go deeper with those relationships. And that's definitely the right angle to be taking, and the consistency, because people are like, oh, Ricky, man, you've come out of nowhere, dude. Your business is on fire. 10 years of consistent nonstop, right? I love it, dude. So then when it comes to your past clients, right? So then I'm sure your past clients are probably still continuously getting those Wednesday emails.
Yeah.
Then are you doing, additional dials to them or staying in touch with them outside of those emails to further that relationship?
Well, I have so many of them, it's a chore. I mean, I have thousands of past clients. And the thing is they get the email, and that's really the main focus. That's like the heart of my business. That's the glue that holds it all together. But like I said, I'll do every other week. I'll try to call 50 of my past clients and just touch base with them and stuff. But see, down here, most of my clients don't live in my area. They live all over the country. They come down from all over and buy condos down here. So, a lot of times, I'll send out an email that looks like it's a personal email, but it's a blast to everybody. And it's like, hey, man, just checking on you. Let me know when you get down here next. I want to do lunch with you, or something like that. I do a lot of lunches, and I give away a lot of dinner gift cards to seafood restaurants down here. So anytime I meet somebody, I'm giving a $25 gift card to whoever I'm meeting. Just to show gratitude and stuff, just to do something a little extra. So, as far as the past clients, they see what I'm doing. That email I do, they know it's a blast, but I do it in a way where there's still a personal touch to it. And when a client deals with me one-on-one, when we do a deal, it's so up close and personal. Like I go way above and beyond. Like they know when they call me, like I'll go do anything for them. You know what I'm saying? And so when they know that, it's like you don't have to stay in such close contact with them, because they know that whenever they do need you, that you're going to just, cut a back flip for them. So, it's a little bit of both. I try to call them. I can't call all of them. I do what I can do. And I try to do lunch, and a lot of them will call me when they get down and say, hey, let's go do lunch. So I'll get some one-on-one FaceTime with them. So.
Yep. Love it, dude. Love it. So then when it comes to your daily schedule, your personal schedule, man, because you've got, you're doing your circle prospecting, but dude, when you're closing 10 to 15 deals a month, and I know you've got your assistant, but still, it's not like we delegate every aspect of that transaction. We still get sucked into part of it, and like kind of walk us through what a typical day looks like for you, and what type of planning goes into that, right? So you're just not pulling your damn hair out,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Tasmanian devil style, really. But, pulling your hair out and stuff, here's the thing, man. Like, people have different levels. Everybody can handle a different amount of business. Some people get 2 or 3 things under contract, and that is it for them, dude, for like a month. They can't handle anymore. And other people, like I've got 60 listings right now. I've got 22 things under contract. I'm handling a development in Foley. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm sitting here doing a podcast with you, just chilling. It really kind of, you have to be the kind of person that doesn't worry a lot, number one. I think a lot of people worry a whole lot about stuff that doesn't matter. I think that, things work themselves out. I don't like to say it a whole lot, but, I really couldn't sit here and tell you every little thing I got under contract, every little listing I got, because I'm so moving forward and I'm so just letting all that other stuff work itself out. Do I have to do stuff? Do I have to negotiate inspections? Do I have to talk to lenders and title companies and go to closings and stuff like that? Absolutely. I do it all the time. But, what I do, I think the biggest takeaway for everybody would be that I go into the office. First off, I work out every morning at 7. I got a personal trainer. I get to the office about 9. So it's not like I'm getting there at 7 o'clock, like killing it, for 2 hours. I get there at 9 and then I sit down for about 15 minutes and I go through my entire business and I take notes. I look at everything under contract. I look at all the follow-up stuff I need to be working on. Just any little thing going on in my business, I take note and I make a list of everything I need to be thinking about and doing. So, and then after that, I just tackle the list all day long. And the list may include listing appointments, closings. I may not have any appointments. It may just be prospecting and, dealing with stuff under contract, whatever it is. But I think the fact that I actually sit down for 15 minutes, block everything out, and actually study my business every day and take notes, I think that that's a big, big thing. And that kind of will put your mind at ease a little bit, just having everything in front of you, knowing that you're good on everything. If there's some kind of emergency, just go ahead and call. It blows my mind how people will take like a whole day or two to deal with like an inspection. They come back, they want some things fixed. It's like all you had to do was call somebody for like 5 minutes and then you're done. And then you can move over to, let's go find some more business. So I think the biggest thing is to study your business for about 15, 20 minutes per day, take a lot of notes, and then try not to worry about everything and realize that, things are going to work themselves out naturally for the most part. If there is something that you need to attend to, then you'll have to attend to it. Somebody will call you or you'll know it, or something like that. So, I shut down at 5 o'clock every day. I'm done. I have to separate my work and my home. If you don't have that balance, then you can really lose it. You can really get burnt out. So I think it's real important to study your business for 15 to 20 minutes a day, not worry about everything in the world, keep moving forward and find more. The best thing that solves most problems that realtors have is just to move forward and find more deals.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about what's in front of them and they're not looking ahead. And also to separate your home and your life. My office is at my office at Remax of Orange Beach. And, I'm not one of these guys that can work out of my house because I got to separate the two. And, sometimes I come home and I will work sometimes, but, and on the weekends, I don't really work that much either, only if somebody wants to see property. I don't go to the office and make calls or do office work. I grind it out so hard during the week that I don't have to worry about working on the weekends. I do other kind of work, like I'm studying and learning and watching, and I'm working 24/7, believe me, trying to take everything to another level. I don't want you to think I'm just sitting around watching Netflix or something, but yeah, it's all about what I said.
Yeah. No, it's like Abraham Lincoln's famous quote: "If you give me an axe and a tree in 6 hours to cut down the tree, I'm going to spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." And now it's not 4 hours; it's 15 minutes. But every day you got that intentional plan. And if you really break it down, even people that go out there and grind 12, 14, 16-hour days, dude, they're not really grinding 12, 14, 16-hour days, right? Most people they can't control their interruptions. They're in a reactive state. They're not effective. They may, of those hours, they will be only effective 3 hours a day. And it sounds to me like, hey, I spend 15 minutes getting uber focused on what must happen today. Mm-hmm. And then I'm working that 8 hours or 9 hours with extreme intentional focus on these things, which then
Yep.
becomes the equivalent of the average person's 18-hour day.
Right. Dude, I get more done before lunch than most people get done all month.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. I'm just, I'm sure you're the same way. I mean, we're abnormal. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. No, I love it, dude. So then, how, because as entrepreneurs, it can be tough to kind of do that transition. You talked about the importance of okay, I've got my work, but then also making sure that I've got my family life going on. And man, it's tough to shut those wheels down and make those transitions for a lot of people. And I don't know if it's, something that you still struggle with or not, but like, how have you found to be successful in those transitions to be able to do that?
Well, it's always a work in progress, man. It's like anything else. You always got to be trying to figure out how to get better, because you're just never as good as you're going to be. But I will say, in the beginning of a real estate career, especially in the beginning of my career, I didn't shut down at 5, and I didn't work out in the mornings. Okay, I was at the office at 7 o'clock, and I did stay till midnight. I did work 14-hour days to get my business going. Now that I'm where I'm at, now this is my schedule. I can go work out, because you have to work out. I mean, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take that time to take care of yourself. But, I don't work as many hours as I did in the beginning of my career. But here's the thing. When you start, that has to be your only focus. There's so many people that don't make it in this business. If you're not on it, I mean, if you're not putting every little second of every waking minute into this, then you're not going to make it. I mean, the statistics are there. So you have to put everything into it in the beginning. But once you get to a certain point, you have to start separating your work and your home life. And, it's super important. And it comes back to me. I have a very high level of not worrying about stuff. So at 5 o'clock, I may have other things that I need to do. But, I can do them tomorrow. Because here's the thing. When I make that list in the morning for 15 minutes, there is absolutely more stuff on that list than I can do in a day's time. Always, every single time. And so, I mean, if I were gonna nail down and finish everything on that list, every single day, I'd never come home. I'd be there 24 hours and the list would never end. So at what point do you say, okay, I'm gonna enjoy, home. I'm gonna recharge. That's part of being able to kill it on a high level, is being able to go home and recharge. If you work all night, you're gonna be burnt out. You have to do it in the beginning because you're trying to make it. But once you get to a certain point, you have to learn that to maintain that high level of production, you have to recharge. Your brain is not going to work at the highest level that it can work at if you're sleepy every day because you worked all night. So it's a double-edged sword, man. Like it serves two purposes. Leaving at 5 or 6. Going home, not worrying about work, easing your mind, recharging your batteries, that actually gets you psyched up to where when you come in the office next day, you're ready to kill it on the highest level. And it also gives you time to spend with your family. So it's a double-edged reason. And, I want people to understand that.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's kind of like, you mentioned working out every single day. I'm a little bit of a gym rat myself. And so, okay, like if I want to go in there and grow my chest, right? I'm going to go in there and work out like a machine, on my chest for the time that I'm in there. But I can't work out my chest every single day. I got to give it time to recuperate and rebuild and totally agree with you. It's like the more successful you become, once if you start at this level, and then once you get to this level, your body and your mind needs the level of self-care increases that much more. And that recharging is so critical and so important. So, all right, dude. So you recently wrote a book, right? You got all this going on and you decided to write a book, man. Talk to us about the book. Like what inspired you to write the book, and then talk to me about the book.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy because I'm selling all these properties as a single agent, and everybody's like, how in the hell do you find time to write a book? So It is kind of crazy when you think about it, but you know, like I said, when I began in life, dude, like my purpose was to help people on a very, very high level. And you know, in real estate, you know, I actually got in real estate. You know, my first thought getting into real estate is I want to help first time home buyers. You know, I was like, I want to help people. I want to do first time home buyers. And so after I did a couple of them, I was like, I don't want to help first time home buyers. So, you know, but the thing about first time home buyers and dealing with buyers in general is when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to a lot of other things. So, you know, you have to say no to the things that take a lot of time, like clients that take a lot of time, so that you can in turn help lots of other people in that same time frame. So, you know, getting into real estate, you know, that didn't work. So I ended up starting to sell condos, which was great, very gratifying. You know, helping condo owners buy and sell stuff is very gratifying as well, and it pays a lot. So then, you know, I make it to a certain point, and I'm thinking, I want to start training agents. You know, I want to help agents. You know, all these new agents coming in, they don't know what's going on. I want to help them. So I said, I'm going to do a team. So I started trying to do a team, and I went through about 12 agents. And, you know, to me, everybody's different, you know, to me in real estate, there's two different people. There's a salesman, which is me, and there's managers who are brokers and team leaders. Some people are really good at being team leaders and being brokers. I'm not one of them. I just don't have the patience for it. You know, that detail of patience. I have a lot of patience, but the thing is, you know, with the team too, agents are either really good and they leave you pretty quick, or they're really bad and they suck all the life out of you. So, you know, the last guy I had, I was spending so much time with him, and he ended up just leaving, never selling anything and leaving. And he was taking away so much time from my clients. You know, I was spending so much time with him that I needed to spend with my clients to grow my business. And so that's when I decided, you know, I'm just going to be a single agent. I'm not going to do a team. And I'm going to put 100% of my time into my clients, and I'm going to grow that part of the business instead of trying to train agents one after another that either are or aren't going to make it, might leave me, something like that. That's the year that my business blew up. Is when I decided to make that decision. But I still had this itch, you know, I still wanted to help agents. And so, you know, it just finally hit me, why don't I write a book? You know, that's a way that I can help a massive amount of people, you know, with a very little time spent per agent. You know, so that's kind of what led to me writing the book. Writing the book was a whole nother journey because I never wrote a book before. So that was very interesting. But, you know, it came out earlier this year, and dude, it's been incredible. Like, I didn't even know if anybody would like it or read it or whatever, but it's been amazing. The response, you know, it's been super gratifying. And, you know, I've just been overwhelmed with, you know, I just feel super blessed to have the ability to be able to inspire people and kind of help them, show them the way that I did it, so that they can in turn, maybe it can help them find their way. You know, everybody's way is different. So, you know, I just kind of share my path, and I just hope that, you know, transpires to other people, you know, taking what I do, a little bit of what I do here, a little bit of what I do there, and maybe it helps them. So that's kind of the background of it.
Yeah. Well, so what's the name of the book? And then if anybody that's listening or watching this wants to go out and get a copy, which I highly recommend that you all do right away. What I love about books, dude, I'm kind of going off track here slightly, but what I love about books is I don't know the cost of your book, but maybe you go out there and invest $20, $25 or whatever it is, $30, whatever your average book costs. And you're getting, you know, the strategies and the ideas and the concepts that's made the author, you know, especially in business, having millions and millions and millions of dollars, that's packaged for $20. Like where else can you freaking do that? You know, it's just so amazing. So anyway, what's the name of the book, dude? And where's the best place to go pick up a copy?
Yeah, dude, it is absolutely amazing, bro. It is $9, bro, and you get like my blueprint of like exactly how I built $1 million business. But it's all over Amazon. I actually, it's got an ebook, a paperback, and also it's on Audible. You know, I had an audio guy do a audio book of it. But it's Zero to Diamond: How to Become a $1 Million Real Estate Agent, and it literally takes you from zero to diamond and tells you how to become a $1 million real estate agent. Diamond is actually a Remax award for making $1 million in a year. So that's kind of where the title came from. But yeah, Amazon. It's all over Amazon and Audible, iTunes.
Yep, awesome. And those that are watching, listen, we'll make sure to have a link right below wherever you're at, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, the website, so you can go get your copy right away. So then and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't recently you start doing some kind of video training a little bit where agents can kind of get a little bit the insight with that?
Absolutely, man. I do a weekly Q&A. It's on my Facebook group, which you can find on zerotodiamond.com. I got so lucky, dude, that Zero to Diamond was still available as a domain. But zerotodiamond.com, you can go there, and then a link to the Facebook group is there, and you can join that group. And I go live once a week and answer questions and stuff. I might have a subject that I go over. Like tomorrow, I'm going to do it at 4 o'clock Central, and basically, I haven't really got into my story about roofing and real estate stuff with this group yet. It's always been about like strategy and mindset and stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to kind of get into how I went from roofing houses to making $100,000 a month. And then I'll take questions from everybody. And, it's always a lot of fun, and that's growing. And, it's something that allows me to help agents on a really high level, so I'm going to continue doing it because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with your passion to go help people, man, do you see yourself ever like kind of transitioning more into the training and coaching space?
If the money's there.
Yeah.
If I have the opportunity to really branch out and help millions of people, if I'm good enough, if I can do it, then I'll do it. But my true passion is real estate. And even more than that, my true passion is selling Gulf front condos in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. I just love it. I just love the people. It's where I've started, and the community as a whole, they're just behind me so much. It's just my passion, selling real estate. But to answer your question, maybe one day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's epic. So knowing everything that you know now, dude, if you could go back and, to yourself when you first got into this business and give yourself 2 pieces of advice that you feel would have, got you to the level that you're at right now that much quicker. What would those 2 pieces of advice be?
Well, I think the first piece of advice I would give my younger self would be that when a prospect tells you no, it doesn't mean no. What it really means is not right now, but thank you very much. Please stay in touch with me. They just said it in one word, no. So I think the first thing would be that, when you're talking on the phone and you're talking to clients, when people reject you or tell you no, realize that is actually a future client. They're just telling you that they're not ready right now. And you need to collect their information. My favorite is email, and stay in touch with them, forever. So I think that would be the first thing, is that rejection doesn't mean they didn't like you. It just means they're not ready. And actually there may be an opportunity for the future. A second thing would be, my second broker, he had this saying, and it really stuck with me. Of course, I already did this, but it really resonated with me for sure. And it's been a long time and I still remember it. But he said, if you treat real estate like a job, it'll be the best paying job you ever had. And I think that's something that really resonated with me. I was already a hard worker and everything, so I don't know if I told my younger self that, but it's something that definitely has been something that stuck with me over the years. So that's maybe two things that I may relay back to and tell my younger self, hey, I know you work hard already, but here's the thing, little Ricky, keep doing what you're doing. Like, it's gonna work. Treat real estate like a job. It'll be the best paying job you ever had. And don't worry about people that tell you no, because that just means they're not ready yet. Stay with them.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. My 90 Mastery Boot Camp, which is a training program that I do for realtors. I always preach that. We have one session that's just about time management, scheduling, developing your master schedule. I'm like, okay, so here's an example. When I was running gyms, before I got into the real estate business, my wife would never call me at work because she knew that I was on somebody else's dollar, and she wouldn't interrupt that. But the second, I jumped into real estate, she's blowing up my phone to tell me every story, right? Which is cool, right? But you got to set those boundaries. Like, hey, I've got to treat this as a job, and everybody in your environment must respect that as a job, right? So, because you see it all the time, people that were like brilliant when they had a job and being managed or whatever by somebody else, then they jump into real estate, but they can't manage themselves, and it just goes to hell. And so, I love that you brought that up, dude, because that's so powerful, man.
Absolutely, man.
So, just like you, man, I mean, I'm about impact, and I love giving back to the industry that changed my life, right? I think real estate's that industry that both totally transformed both your life and my life. And that's why I started the podcast. Cause I'm like, let me just have a free medium, a space where people can learn from the doers, guys like you. This isn't theory, right? I got so sick of all the, these gurus that have never freaking done it. So I wanted to create that space. And those that are here watching and listening, they're here because they want to go out there and create an epic, amazing life, just like you've been able to do, going from, $300 a week roofing to making over $100,000 a month, right? So any last words of maybe advice or inspiration that you'd like to leave our audience with so they can go out there and do exactly that?
I would say that the most important thing is to have conversations with people. A lot of people try to, or I hear from a lot of agents, like, how do I get started and what do I do? There's so much garbage out there. There's so much stuff, getting thrown at realtors right now, trying to tell you this is the way, this is the path you should take, and all that stuff. And I didn't begin my career in this world where there's all this garbage. There was a little bit, but it was pretty straightforward. It's a lot worse today, and I think something that I would pass on to people that are really new in the business or what have you, or trying to find their way is just don't listen to all the garbage, and just realize that bottom line, this business is built on relationships. Period. And it's not, and when you think about relationships, a lot of people in today's world think about relationships as, Facebook friends or, a postcard they sent somebody. When you send somebody a postcard, you don't know what they think about you. You don't know if your personality matches up with theirs. People don't choose realtors because that realtor they chose was the best realtor. Anybody can put a property on MLS, show you property. Anybody can do that. They picked you because they liked you, right? And I think that being likable and making people feel comfortable with you, being very low pressure, and talking to people on a massive level, to me, it's like, if you're not calling 50 to 100 people, if you're complaining about where's my next deal coming from? Why can't I get things going? And you're not calling 50 to 100 people every single day, going through the phone script that I laid out for you today on this podcast, then I can't help you. If you're not putting in the work to try to talk to the people, to create these personal relationships, not Facebook relationships or Zillow or email, real relationships where you click, your personalities click. I think that's something I would want to pass on, is to just concentrate on that and not worry about anything else for years. Just develop hundreds and hundreds of relationships with property owners that own property in the niche markets you want to sell.
Yep. Powerful words, man. Couldn't agree more. I love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. So to our audience, I know I end every podcast with this, you guys, but information without implementation truly is the start of delusion. Information is not power. It's taking that information, taking action on it that creates power inside your world. So Ricky shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you guys, some epic scripts with you guys. Take something that you learned from Ricky and take immediate action on it so you can create that power inside your world that you know you want and truly deserve. Also, go visit Ricky's website, zerotodiamond.com. Make sure to go pick up his book. All of those will have links right below so you guys can go do that. Plus, join his Facebook group, man. I mean, for me personally, I always want to learn from the doers. And you got a doer here doing it at a big level. Learn from them, right? And then Ricky, man, I know how busy you are, dude. Truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Dude, I enjoyed it, man. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, hell yeah, 100%. All right,
Cool.
you guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next time.